how do you pre-cater to your client's needs? Well, this was a really interesting question that I got in response to an earlier video, which could be any of these. And just so you know, you can ask anything. So I want to address a couple of things. The first one is we have to get this mindset out that everybody's a client, because everybody's not a client. That's really specific vocabulary. And in real estate, you should be crystal clear with the public that there's a difference between customers and clients. Customers is anybody. That could be the person on the other side of a transaction. It could be somebody you've met and have not established a formal relationship with. A client is somebody with whom you have a formal fiduciary relationship, as in with North Carolina, we have paperwork that you sign that says you have selected this real estate professional to represent your needs in a fiduciary capacity, which means you owe to them the duties of skill, care, diligence, and you're going to do a lot of digging and work on their behalf. That is so much deeper than a customer relationship. So when you're pre-catering to people, they're not your clients yet. But if you'd like for them to become clients, there's a couple of very important things that you can be doing right now to establish a relationship before the conversation starts. The first one is share information like this. If more real estate pros would explain clearly to the public the difference in the types of relationships, if they would explain the duties that are owed to the public, it would be easier for the public to pick an agent. So that's one of the things all of us can be doing better, is providing a good explanatory of the process of real estate and all the vocabulary. And in fact, if you look at it, most real estate websites don't even have an FAQ, and FAQs, the frequently asked questions, are one of the most visited parts of any big website. So what does the public want to know from you? Well, they would like to know what the process is. And in fact, in North Carolina, every year our clock resets on July 1st when it comes to mandatory education. So if you're the agent who's really on the ball, you would cater to your future clients by taking your continuing education earlier. Now, you think I'm crazy when I say this, but y'all, in North Carolina, you have all the way until June 10th, after July 1st, to take the mandatory required updates. That means that some agents in this state are not updated for months after things have changed. Now, we know how quickly real estate changes. It changes every day right now because we are in a time of economic flux. Interest rates are all over the place. The market keeps moving. And so a really good person in real estate who wants to cater to the needs of the public is going to be up to speed on state law and regulations and all of those pieces involved in real estate. This should inspire you right now to go look at your favorite real estate school and go ahead and get signed up for whatever update classes are coming. If you're in another state, obviously go by your own rules. Now, the next thing you could do to cater to those clients before you ever meet them is understand your community better. I find that a lot of real estate pros think the only information the public wants has to do with houses and neighborhoods, and that's just not the full story. The full story of real estate has to do with water and sewer infrastructure. It has to do with roads. It has to do with school capacity. It has to do with the business environment and the job environment. It has to do with who the elected officials are and how do they feel about growth and development. It has to do with future building. It has to do with what's happening with lead-based paint and radon requirements on existing properties. It has to do with property tax rates and capital gains rates. It is a giant picture. And unfortunately, a lot of real estate pros get so siloed into thinking about real estate as, I'm going to show this house, I'm going to stick a sign in this yard. They're missing the big picture. And if we know anything in 2023, it is that the big picture is where the changes are coming in. So if you really want to serve the public, get really focused on the knowledge about your local area. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to know about real estate all over the country because there is no national real estate market. However, each one of us as real estate pros should be on the money when it comes to our zip code. I'll give you an example of this. I was at a community event just yesterday and I was speaking to a county commissioner. I know all of my county commissioners. I believe it's my responsibility as a member of the voting public to know my elected officials, whether I voted for them or not. I want to know who they are so that I can know their thought process and I can know what's coming. And this county commissioner was asking me as a local real estate person, what did I know about the market? What were my thoughts on it? Is it busy? Is it not? And we were talking about the challenges that are being presented in our market where we have so many new jobs We don't have all the new rooftops. Why don't we have new rooftops? Well, our builders want to build, but we have challenges on capacity with water and sewer. So he and I were having a very in-depth conversation about this, and he asked my opinion, so I gave my opinion. And my opinion has to do with the best ways to manage growth and regulatory burden and the cost of zoning. And I know that he loved hearing all of that, but that's my job, is to bring those insights, because he actually was very honestly interested. If you really want to pre-serve your clients, stop thinking about real estate as just the next house. I can't say that enough. Your real estate career has to be focused on the way that we serve every neighbor in every zip code in all facets of real estate. And yes, that means you're going to have to do homework. It means you're going to have to read the emails that come to you from your Realtor Trade Association, and also read the emails that come from your local newspaper. In fact, I subscribe to the local newspaper. I'm probably the youngest subscriber they have, and I'm very proud of that. But when I read the paper, I can see what's happening with the thought processes, because I want to read the letters to the editor. I want to see what's happening in the little historic section, because I can see where the growth of my community has happened. There's a lot of information to be gleaned from your local news sources. And by the way, you notice I'm not telling you to go to Facebook and get that. I'm not telling you to go to Twitter and get that, because it's too easy to get the opinion of somebody else who's not in your local area. So in addition to your elected officials, your county commissioners and city officials, do you also know your local news people, your local newspaper editor? Do you know him or her by name? Because you should. They should have you as a resource when it comes to real estate, so that you can bring that information forward. So I will tell you what this means to your future clients, my dear commenter. When you learn something, that's what you should be making a marketing post about, where it's less about you and more about the holistic community and what real estate's part is in that community. Be visible, be active, be a resource. This is the most important thing you can do for the future of real estate. And then if you really want to get granular, how you're serving people in those interim times, I will say that right now all over the country there are what we call revals going on, or a revaluation of property values. Our numbers have changed tremendously since 2019 all over the country. So why not be the real estate pro that proactively puts out a piece that says, ask me. If you have questions, I will show you where the comps have been. I will show you where the market is showing signs of going, because we don't know where it's going to go, but we have some early indicators and trend lines we can look at, and help your neighbors understand that process, because many of them don't. And the fact that real estate is so infrequent is what causes this lack of information. It's not that people are stupid, and it's not that they're not paying attention. It's that because real estate is so infrequent, if they bought the house 10 years ago and this is their second reval, they've had so much noise in their own lives, they haven't been able to absorb it. So cut them a little slack and let your marketing be about information. Let your marketing be about the community, about developers and builders and schools and information. That's what your future client wants, is a realtor who totally gets it. And the other thing you can consider is this. Whenever markets change and we have uncertain market times, uncertain economic times, that's when experience matters. And that's why the public does tend to go find a more seasoned realtor who's been through multiple economic climates. We know that right now, as of the recording of this video, it's estimated that 67% of realtors, and that's of course not including the licensees who have not joined the trade association, 67% of our realtors, which is primarily the full-time folks, have not done real estate through any kind of economic downturn. And we do all know somewhere in our heart of hearts that an economic downturn is in the future. And I don't know if it's 12 minutes or 12 months or 12 years away, but there are challenges coming. And when it's uncertain, the public does lean on experience. So if you happen to be an early career realtor, now is a time to bond up with a broker or a mentor who's been in through some different economic conditions, so they can guide you through it, so that you can guide the public through it. The public isn't asking you to have perfect answers. They're not asking you to know all the answers. They know real estate is very fluid and it changes from house to house. What they're counting on you for is a level of expertise and knowledge and calm in the midst of chaos, so that they can make as good a decision as possible given the information we have. Now, I'll give you one more little tip for pre-servicing people before they need you. is let them see your face, let them know you. Stop hiding behind social media. Get out into your neighborhoods, get out into the community. Go to a parade if there is one, go to a reading event, go to the school orientation for new teachers. Be out there and stop using Instacart, frankly. If you would stop using so much technology to separate yourself from the world, you'd be more in the middle of where other people are. And then if they see you in the produce section and ask you a question about real estate, you can answer it and just give some good in-depth information, because if you did all the homework I suggested before, you're going to have a different answer than any other agent they meet. And that's going to be the realtor of the future who survives, is somebody that's got the information and is available to share it. If you've got questions you want me to answer, drop it in the comments or send me a direct message on any of the platforms. I check them all and I'll help you any way I can, because I will tell you, at the end of the day, without a good seasoned realtor, it's really hard for some members of the public to make it all the way through the process. Some people can, but other people need a professional to guide them, and it may as well be you.